Hey guys, I brought you with me down here deep in the heart of the Project Research Laboratories because I have something fun and useful that I thought you might like to try at home. I'm going to show you what this is and how you can make it on Urban Survivalcraft. So what are we looking at? I call this a high brass snap cap. I bought these 12 gauge tipped-in snap caps for my shotgun. As you can see, they have all plastic construction with a steel spring and a brass plug for the primer. This is a great design in most respects. The plastic is very durable. When it goes into the chamber, it's not going to shear off little bits of metal or deform. The spring's very durable, and the plug, made out of brass, cushions the impact of the firing pin, allowing this to be used thousands and thousands of times while protecting your shotgun and not falling apart. There's one flaw. It's got a plastic rim too. That will fall apart. Now, I don't know if you can see on camera, but I ran this through my Benelli Supernova only a couple of times, and it just about shredded that plastic rim. My solution? High brass snap cap. So how do we do this? After dissecting the snap cap to determine how it's put together, I decided that the easiest and most effective solution would be to remove the brass from a spent shell casing and then remove enough plastic around the base of the shell in order to press fit it in place. That leaves me with a durable snap cap that I can cycle through the pump action or autoloader shotgun as many times as I want without wearing out the rim. Now you could try to use a low brass shell like this birdshot, but since we're press fitting it in place, the extra length is really going to help. So the first part is removing this brass from the spent shell. I'm going to start by cutting most of it off. Now I need to deprime it. I'm going to put it on top of a socket, use a pin punch slightly smaller than the primer, give it a light tap, and it's deprimed. Now I need to get the rest of the plastic out. I have to remove this plastic, but first I have to chamfer the primer pocket. Now it's easier to do that with the plastic still in place because it keeps the metal from moving around as I cut it. I'm going to use this drill bit, which is about 90 degrees, to do the cut. I'm going to use this block of wood so I can run the drill bit through the primer pocket without the end of it hitting the metal table. I can finish the job by flipping it over and chamfering the other end. I'll do a little bit more finish work later, but as you can see, I've got that solid ring of metal and I'm ready to get the plastic out. I'm going to heat up the plastic so I can pull it out easily. I'll use my MAPP gas torch for this, but you could use a butane lighter, a candle, or you could put a whole batch of them on top of an iron and do them all at once. As long as you can get enough heat in it to soften the plastic, you're in business. That should about do it. Now I can do my finish work chamfering the rest of the primer pocket. Now that's pretty smooth. That'll allow me to tap it down nice and flush with the bottom of the snap cap. Now I need to remove enough plastic from the bottom of the snap cap so that the brass can fit on. Now this is where it would be really convenient for me just to put it on the lathe and turn it down to the exact diameter I want. But if you have a lathe, you probably don't need me to show you how to do this. For everybody else, we can get this job done with a hacksaw blade and a file. Not that difficult. First thing, I just want to saw that rim right off. Okay, now we've hacksawed off that rim, we're going to move on to the file. First thing I'm going to do is just do my finish work on this cut here. I'm just going to smooth it out a little bit. Okay, I've smoothed that out. Now I need to take some material off the circumference here. If I don't do that, when I press fit the brass into place, it's going to be too wide and it won't chamber, or if I do force it to chamber, it won't extract. This is a pretty simple, crude way of doing it. Gets the job done easily. I'm just going to use the file, drag it along until it's about right, rotating it as I go. Okay, now I've got the diameter down to where I need it. As I put the brass on, I can feel that there's enough drag for it to press fit into place securely. But I can't just slide it on. It's not so loose it's going to fall off. It's also not so tight that I would be stretching the brass excessively. If I stretch it out too much, when it chambers, it's going to get stuck. The first time you do this, you should probably test it a couple of times as you're working to get a feel for how far you need to turn it down. Now before I fit them together, I want to sand down that little bit of raised lettering just to make sure it gets a little bit tighter fit. I want it to be flush. Jeweler's file does the job very nicely. The final step is fitting the two parts in place. I'm going to start by sliding the brass on, and then I'm going to tap it in place with a brass hammer. Now to make sure this is secure and the edge of that brass doesn't catch on anything as it's chambering, I'm going to use that jeweler's file again. Working at about 45 degrees, I'm just going to press it down and taper it a little bit to smooth out the transition. Now we've got a secure connection that's not coming apart. And there you have it, a 12 gauge high brass snap cap. Now for safety, let's test it out. A live round will generally drop right into the chamber and fall right out again. These usually won't do that, but they shouldn't need a lot of force to go in or to come out. I'm going to use my cleaning rod here, drop it down the barrel, and give it a little push. Out it goes. And there you have it. All ready to use. Hey guys, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit like and subscribe, and share it with your friends. Thanks for watching. This is Urban Survivalcraft.